This is a Toyo Open Country AT2, and it's arguably one of the best all-terrain tires on the market, and today we're here to tell you just why. And in true custom offsets fashion, of course, we got to kick it off with a burnout test. I'd say that's sufficient. So when it comes to the Toyo tire lineup, the AT is actually on the less aggressive side of kind of the big three. So your all-terrains, your hybrid tires, and of course your mud tires. So in that lineup, you've got the Toyo Open Country AT2, the Open Country RT is going to be your hybrid, and the Open Country MT is going to be that mud terrain for you. So this Open Country AT2 has been out for a while. It's obviously a revision of the original Open Country that they had so much success with. But we've had the current design now for quite a bit, and it's really proven its success in the tire industry. And I think a lot of that comes from the availability of sizes and just how this tire performs. So you're looking at anything from all the way as small as 15-inch wheel diameters all the way up to 22-inch wheel diameters. So there's probably an application out there for you. The one that we're testing today is a 295/55 R20. And then depending on which size you select, they actually offer up to a 65,000 mile warranty, which is pretty impressive. And you're getting that because this is an all-terrain tire. Now, in some of the larger sizes, you won't quite get the 65,000, but you do have a 50,000 mile warranty. So still plenty of life out of these tires. Within the Open Country AT2 lineup, there's actually different versions of the tire. So on the weaker side of things, I guess you can say, you're going to have P-metric tires. Then your standard size tires, it's going to be ideal for your 1500 trucks, all the way up to then flotation sizes. So those are like the 33 12.5s or 35 12.5s, even up to 37 for this Open Country. So why it's important is that if you're putting these on a 2500, they're actually not intended for that use in many of the sizes. The load range and the load index just isn't there for the 2500. So this is an ideal tire for someone who puts a lot of miles on, but is primarily operating on highways or on, city streets on the pavement. Not necessarily that off-road guy or the guy that's towing all the time, but just the guy that puts a lot of miles on his truck. One of the differences you'll see when you're shopping for these tires is that even the same size can be kind of different in price, and sometimes it's a substantial difference. So one of the things that you'll notice, a little small detail, is that you'll have an XT designation on that tire. And what they're saying there is that's basically the more extreme version of the tire. So it actually has a little bit deeper tread wells, so you get more traction off-road, as well as a more aggressive shoulder. So one of the things about this tire is that the sidewall or the shoulder of the tire doesn't look very aggressive at all. Really, the aggressiveness is within that tread pattern, that tread contact that actually is contacting the pavement. But the shoulder or the sidewall is not super aggressive looking until you jump to that XT designation. Then you're going to see that the side lugs, I guess you can call it, are raised up a little bit more and do give you a bit more grip off-road and just a better looking tire if you have a lifted truck and you kind of want to go for that more aggressive look. The design of the tread pattern is actually relatively aggressive, just in the fact that it has a lot of steep angles and cuts in it, and they do add a lot of siping on the tread blocks as well, which is great if you're somebody who does have to deal with snow like we do here in Wisconsin. As far as grip goes on the ice and snow, these things are pretty good. You're never going to beat out a true winter tire, but when it comes to the Toyo tire lineup, these are one of the better options for you. When it comes to noise, these Toyo Open Country AT2s are relatively quiet. Now, if you're driving on stock tires right now that came on your vehicle, from the dealership, you're going to notice a slight increase in noise, but you don't really pick up any sort of noise till about 35 or 40 miles an hour. And then when you do, it's definitely not unbearable by any means. This is probably one of the quietest riding tires that I've driven on in the last 5 years or so out of all the different tire reviews that we've done. And that's a lot of it is because it is an all-terrain tire. It's not as aggressive as some of the other things that we typically show, but very smooth tire, very quiet tire, and definitely if you're coming from a stock OEM tire, this is going to perform significantly better for you, at least in my opinion, when it comes to grip, both on and off-road, and then barely any noticeable noise increase. If you've already got all-terrain tires or a hybrid tire, you're going to see that these are probably quieter than what you're running right now. One of the things that really helps the longevity of this tire is that they include these tie bars between the tread blocks. So basically what that's doing is adding some more rubber compound kind of between your tread block itself and the tread wells. So it like dissipates where all the weight is going to, because if you can imagine, the road is really only pressing up on those tread blocks. All the space in between doesn't make any sort of contact. So to increase stability, they've added these tie bars in there to kind of dissipate some of that weight, which really helps, like I said, with the longevity as well as the stability of this tire. You can send this thing through roundabouts, you can drive it down the highway at 80 miles an hour, and the tire just feels good. It feels planted and very stable across any speeds, or in cornering, or even towing trailers, all of that stuff. It's a very stable tire. Even though this is an all-terrain tire, if you do decide to take it off the pavement, you're gonna do okay. I'm not gonna say that you're gonna do great. Toyo has the MT. If you're gonna take this your truck off-road all the time, you're gonna want to go with something like that. But if you see the occasional gravel road, you're gonna be a-okay. So they do also have stone ejectors on the outside edges of these tires too, to actually get rid of some of the debris that would typically clog up a tire and make it slipperier, in a low traction environment. So it's nice to see that they added that, as well as the siping, like I mentioned before, for better performance in wet or snow conditions. Due to all those factors, you're going to see that the price point on these open country AT2s is a bit higher than some of the lesser known brands out there. However, you kind of get what you pay for when it comes to tires. We've said that in a ton of different tire videos, and this one especially. If you want a tire that lasts 50 to 65,000 miles, and that's just what's covered in warranty. We've actually had people go even further with the tires than that, but that's why you're going to end up paying just a little bit more for these tires. Just for comparison's sake, like I said, we're driving the 295 50/20s, and I think a lot of people are kind of curious about weights of tires. So this is basically a 33 by 12. The math is a little off there. It's like a 32.8, but essentially 33 by 12, and it weighs in right around 60 pounds. So for the amount of tire you're getting, not too bad as far as weight and rolling mass and rolling resistance. If you're somebody who's really into tires and wants to know all the nitty-gritty details, we have all the specs you could ever want on the website at customoffices.com. That's where you can find full details on this tire, pricing, and all the size availability for your specific truck.